We are very close to the Paris Olympics, and it's not just about the athletes, but about their fitness as well, not just physical, but mental. And I have two very special guests joining me today who are going to be talking to us in detail about what exactly mental health for athletes before big tournament means. Dr. Sameer Parekh, who is the chairperson of mental health of Fortis Healthcare. So thank you so much for being here and talking to us firstly. And I also have Divya Jain here, who is a sports psychologist. Thank you to you too for being here. Dr. Sameer, if I can come to you first, you are, of course, going to be with the team that is going to be in Paris, the part of medical team. This is the first time that this is happening, that there is going to be a mental health expert. What exactly does it entail, sir?
So before that, I think I must speak here as a mental health professional and an advocate for mental health now for almost 3 decades or so. The fact that the medical team has mental health experts, we've come a long way. Too late in its own way, but I'll take what I get because it also shapes future. Think about it like this. What brings success in any field? You need skill set, you have coaches, you have your own skill set, but then you also need the right mental health, the right mind to be able to get what you want or to be able to perform to your best. An athlete is a human like anyone else is. The only difference is here, when we talk about in the context of an Olympic, for example, you're talking about a final exam coming every 4 years, not every few months, not an appraisal coming every year. So that just brings a whole different context, and you have the whole world looking at you. It brings a different kind of pressure. So you split mental health here in 2 parts. Part 1 being related to performance. Divya would talk a lot more about it. But part 2, like any other individual, there is the mental health component, my well-being, my happiness and joy quotient, my functionality, and the context of life, not just pressure, which is at the arena, on the field, pressure of various aspects. And then when you put it together, you will never have fitness without mental health. You will never be able to speak about success without putting in the context of mental health. And I think it's an important thing that IOA has done. I think we need to really thank both IO and the ministry for the fact that we've added mental health as a part of the medical team. I think in years to come, this will pave way for ending a lot of stigma and bringing more inclusivity when it comes to taking care of well-being.
Dr. Sameer, talking, precisely just from the perspective of the Olympic Games, the mental health, what would it entail? If you could tell us, what could be the top concerns as per the athletes? Of course, like you said, there is stress, there is the pressure of expectations. Representing your country is always, there is some amount of pressure. There is some happy, nervous energy as well. So, what could be the top 3-4 concerns as per you?
Will I be able to be at my best at that given moment in time? Because it might just be a few minutes or a few seconds, which is I've practiced for years and my performance is going to be in a few minutes or few seconds. That the fact that there are so many people looking at me, what happens if I don't live up to their on my own expectation? What happens to me if I don't do well? And also to be able to just be there and express one's own self with the freedom of being who you are and not under the pressure of what people want you to be. And balancing that at the highest level with the highest level of arousal and performance pressure. Those are the key aspects at the end of the day. And if you add a team sport to it, then how all of us stay together and make sure that we bring out the best in each other and take care of them.
But doctor, would you say it's easier in team sport because you have, teammates, players who can cheer you up, who can, pull you up when you're down, as opposed to those who are playing, singles or who have individual events?
Yes and no. It will come down to individuals. You could flip this question and say, if I'm playing by myself, I know everything is in my control. The moment I have more players or more mates, what if one of them has a bad day and it percolates down? It's the way you look at it. I think both kinds of games, individual sports or team sports, have their own nuances, have their own uniqueness. And that's the beauty of sports. I believe sports is the best example of skills in life. If you even if you don't play sport, watch sport and you'll learn about life.
Divya, I want to come to you. We are looking at a contingent of 117 athletes. And what is interesting is that, some of them are, of course, going to be going to their first Olympics. Some of them have been there in Tokyo, but, did not win a medal. And then you have the likes of Neeraj Chopra, who won a gold medal, PV Sindhu, who won her second medal in Tokyo, will be looking to do it again in Paris as well. So there is going to be a whole range of athletes for you to be talking to be, conversing with.
Yes, absolutely. And that is the beauty of psychology already, right? There is so many individual differences. You'll never find two people who are exactly the same, who think in the same way. And that's what makes it fascinating. At the same time, yes, there are certain concerns that we know everyone is experiencing, that those pressure, those expectations, what happens to you while you're out there on the field with the whole world watching. There's definitely going to be a lot of that excitement. How we interpret that, how we perceive that, what we do in that moment as a response to that is something that will vary person to person. And so that's why it's important to tailor any psychological intervention to each individual athlete rather than just in a group setting per se.
And also, I think sports psychology will also come in. Say, for example, if I talk about PV Sindhu, she's had her share of injuries. She comes into Olympic Games, like I said, after winning her medal in Tokyo. So there is going to be a sense of hesitation in her about, not being at her fittest through the year before the Olympic Games. So do you think that's where also the sports psychology can come in?
So the mental aspect of injury is something that we do definitely have to address in general, because an injury can have a significant impact. And again, our thought processes will determine our perception towards that injury and how well we are able to bounce back from it. So are there fears that develop as a result? Do you feel like you're lagging behind? Does your confidence tend to reduce? On the other hand, do you feel more resilient? Do you feel more confident? Do you feel like I've been able to bounce back from this? I'm a stronger person mentally. I can deal with adversity and I'm going to go out there and do my best. So yes, injuries are a place where mental health, sports psychology definitely do have a role to play. But again, how each person interprets, perceives, deals with that situation is what we're going to be. That's what's going to be important.
Thank you so much for your time and speaking to us here on the Times Network.